Hello, good afternoon. Can you please state your name?
Virginia Butler Blake.
And can you please tell me how old you are, Virginia?
92.
Where are you from?
Ronceverte, West by God, Virginia.
And how long have you lived here?
Oh, except 4 years of my life.
Now, Virginia, I'm going to ask you some questions. The following answers will be solely your expressed opinion and will be used as part of a public website or blog. Thank you for agreeing to be interviewed for this oral history project. Let's begin. As a long-term resident of Ronceverte, West Virginia, how do you believe that the town or the community has changed over the last 50 years?
Well, it's changed considerably, and I'm sad to say it hasn't exactly gone in the direction that most of us had hoped it would, but it might be safe to say we're kind of hanging on and holding on to what we have and trying to improve that.
Mm-hmm. Can you tell me what was one of your favorite spots to visit when you were here as a child? A store that's no longer here or a landmark that's no longer in Ronceverte? What did you enjoy doing when you grew up here?
Oh, coming to town on Saturday night.
What did you do? Tell me about it.
You'd be surprised. You couldn't walk the streets. There were so many people.
Mm-hmm. What was your favorite activity? Did you go to the movies? Did you go to the diner? What kinds of things did you enjoy doing?
When I was a child?
Yeah.
Oh, the movies were great, 15 cents.
That's a good deal.
The theater's still here, by the way.
Mm-hmm. What was your favorite movie that you saw at that theater?
Oh, I suppose I'm supposed to say Gone with the Wind. That really isn't it, but there were several of them. I just can't be specific right now.
That's okay. Virginia, do you feel that the town's changes have had a positive, negative, or neutral effect on Ronceverte, West Virginia?
Well, you're not going to give me enough time to think about this.
Well, that's okay. Take your time.
Quickly, I would say more of a neutral effect. I'd have to say neutral.
Okay. Can you tell me a little bit about why you feel like that?
Well, as I said a moment ago, we haven't advanced as far as some of us would like for it to have gone. And on the other hand, we've done some pretty positive things, I think. Of course, the thing that we're most proud of, I think, is our Island Park. And we're constantly, whoever's in charge, whoever the city officials are at the time, they have always been concerned about Island Park.
And Virginia, you used to be the mayor of Ronceverte, correct? Can you tell us a little bit about that experience?
Oh, it was one I'll never forget. And I'm so glad that I had the privilege of serving the people of this town as mayor.
Can you tell us the years that you served?
No, let's see.
That's okay.
The last time was, let's see, 90, in the late 1990s, that era, and then it was before that. I served, we have 3-year terms. I hope they change that one of these days. But I served 3-year terms.
And is it true that you were the first female mayor of Ronceverte, West Virginia?
As far as I know, and I've been told that I was the first in Greenbrier County.
That's quite an accomplishment. What made you decide you wanted to run?
Well, I'm glad you asked me that. Without naming names, when I was late 20s, early 30s, somewhere along in there, I would see our businessmen when I'd be uptown doing little things. I saw one man that I had the utmost respect for. I picked up cigarette butts over there in front of City Hall, and I thought, well, I can pick up cigarette butts too. And I thought, well, that might be interesting to get involved. At that time, I wasn't sure how a woman running would be accepted, but I evidently was because I got elected.
Again and again, huh? Yeah, that's great. Virginia, can you tell me why you believe that you remained in Ronceverte, West Virginia for the extent of your adult life?
Well, my husband's business was here, was the main thing. He was a newspaper man, the West Virginia News, and then he converted to the daily paper. That was the main reason, because of their business.
Well, what else attracted you to remain in the area? So after your husband's newspaper business ended, what made you want to remain here in Ronceverte?
My family, all my family was here.
And I know at the beginning of our interview, you said that you lived somewhere else only for 4 years. Where was the other location that you lived at?
Waco, Texas. That was when my husband was in the service.
And then you all decided
in the Army down in Waco.
And then you just decided to come back home.
Yeah, and we came back here.
That's great.
We left Texas, and when we got to St. Louis, I came right and came to West Virginia. He went left and went to California to be with the Army of Occupation, but the war was over just in 2 or 3 days, so he came on back too.
Can you tell me one of your favorite memories of Ronceverte? Either growing up, as an adult, as a child, presently. What's one of your favorite memories that stands out that you shared in this time in Ronceverte?
And you're going to have to let me think on that.
That's okay. Yeah, take your time.
I mean, more than just sitting here.
I can pause it. Virginia, can you please share a memory that you have growing up in Ronceverte, West Virginia?
I believe one of my most favorite is the giving away of the Christmas stockings. That was, I can't remember exactly the year that was started, but we give away the merchants of the town give away the Christmas stockings every year, and they've been doing it for so long, and it attracts hundreds of people from this area. And I don't think anyone's ever known exactly how many we give away, but I think that's one of the things that Ronceverte can be most proud of.
Can you tell me another example of how you think Ronceverte, so if we think of Ronceverte, West Virginia, from 1955 to Ronceverte, West Virginia, 2014, can you tell me some changes that you see that have happened over that time span? Positive or negative?
Well, that's enough. You're smacking me right between the eyes.
Oh.
I'd have to give that a little bit of thought now.
Okay. Can you tell me a little bit more about your husband's business, about the newspaper? Did the newspaper used to be in Ronceverte, West Virginia?
Yeah. The building's been torn down now.
Can you tell me a little bit about that? Because that's something I think that's interesting, that Ronceverte had its own paper, that people were utilizing all throughout the county.
Well, and when he converted, when Norman, my husband, converted to a daily, we were the smallest town in the state with a daily newspaper.
That's great.
And that I'm trying to think what year that was.
That's okay. 66?
That's close enough.
Can you also tell me what kinds of things did you do to help him with the paper? Did you help press it? Did you help deliver it? What kind of things did you do there?
Well, I could do most anything, not as well. I could do most anything anybody else did in that paper.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if my father-in-law would like to hear me say that, but I don't have to worry about him anymore. There was one thing though that I never could do. You understand back then, everything was old-fashioned.
Like pressing and different
Yeah.
mechanisms are so
Right,
easy today with technology.
And we had one fellow, I think we referred to him as the press man, sat up on a stool and flipped the papers through the press. I never did do that because they wouldn't let. I believe I could have.
Well, see, that's a great story. Can you tell me one more memory about anything that makes you feel that Roncevert's your home? What is one, I know we talked about the Christmas stocking, but what makes Roncevert your home to you?
Well, I believe this is going to be a safe statement. I don't believe half the people in this town realize that this is the only Roncevert in the world. And do you know what it means?
Please tell us.
Briar Green, Green Briar,
Mm-hmm.
which is from where the county got its.
Mm-hmm.
I'm proud of that. Our citizens ought to be, and I think most of them are. I wish we had some way to get the history of this town to more of our people.
Mm-hmm. And that's what we're trying to do now through you. You're sharing a lot of really good stories that can help people understand the history of the people of the county and Greenbrier and Roncevert. So that's great.
Well, that's a good job. Good luck to you.
Yes. And you've done a lot to help us.
Well, I hope I have.
Would you just like to make one more statement, any advice you have on maybe the next 20 years of Roncevert? What are your hopes for the future of this town and this community?
Well, the biggest hope I have, and the people that I deal with and associate with, I think would probably agree with me. We've got to get more young people interested. They have the vitality. They have more know-it-all. After all, we're getting old. We're going to have to retire one of these days. And that's the main thing I like to see. And I would do anything I could to encourage and help that. As a matter of fact, I have talked to a lot of our younger people, trying to get them involved more. But I'll keep trying.
Thank you so much for talking with us today.
It's been my pleasure.